Just to start off, the day was created to raise awareness of the violation of human rights that widows endure in many countries following the deaths of their spouses. Perhaps just in the Namibian context, can you share with us just perhaps how concerning are human rights abuses against widows?
Thank you so much for having me here on the program. Just also want to say the day is, as you have alluded to earlier, it's commemorated globally. It is an international day. Mm-hmm. In Namibia, particularly, widows are really going through a lot of challenges. They are going through a lot of stigmatization and also a lot of traditional harmful traditional practices. And they are becoming vulnerable, and again, there are a lot of injustices and extreme poverty that they are experiencing here in Namibia in particular.
Ms. Jane, perhaps just although there are no specific contributing factors to women losing their spouses, what could be some of these factors that contribute to their to a growing number of widows?
Yeah, the growing numbers of widows one can say is just a normal practice, because I think women outlive more than comparing to men. And hence this has become probably the trend. And again, through the COVID pandemic, a lot of women lost their beloved husband, and this has contributed immensely to the number of women that became widows.
And if you look at our African culture, when a woman loses her spouse to death, she is often depicted perhaps as a witch, a gold digger, and all sorts of slanders, but the man is not. Why do you think this is the case?
I think this has become now a norm, or probably a tradition in our own traditional cultures. Because it has become a traditional norm, whereby whenever a husband passed on, the wife is being then discriminated, is being labeled as a witch, is being all sorts of names have been labeled against this poor widow, as if he is the one that has committed this unjust, unwanted death of his beloved spouse or husband.
Now,
but this is normally not applicable to men if you see them, because if a wife passes on, the community and the society are very lenient, and they really also want to help the man so much that they can get in a second and a minute for him to get a helper. But to the contrary, when a husband passed away, the widow is then put under a spotlight. Even just the way that you are moving, people are just tracing your steps. The way you are not free anymore within the space of living. Everybody is just putting you under a microscope, just to ensure that what is she doing? Is she doing this? Is this? So your way of living is becoming so limited, and hence a burden is then put on a widow moving forward after you have lost your husband.
Now, tomorrow's event runs under the theme "Orphans in Need." What does this theme speak to, and what is expected? The activities that are expected during the event?
Yeah, the event is trying to raise awareness, to see that the widows, in most cases, are left with orphans, and they then are struggling to push through the grief and the loss together. So there is a need for an inclusion, a social inclusion, be it in our own communities, being it at a government level, and inclusion into policies that addresses the issues that affect orphans. At times, some orphans have lost both their parents, and they now have guardians. And at times, these guardians looking after these orphans are really also mistreating these orphans. But they are in need of support as they are looking forward to a new life. Whenever you have lost a mom, a dad, and you are all by yourself, it is a beginning of a new life. And this new life, one can compare it as being a toddler, now starting to crawl again. So really the orphans are in need of our support. And with the encouragement that the widows are empowered, they will be then also in a way helping these orphans that they are left with to look after them. And so that is the importance of the day, to raise awareness. It's more necessarily that we have a lot of orphans now. We have orphanages, we have orphans that are on our streets. We have in very unbearable situations that they are finding themselves. So we are now just trying to raise awareness for the community, for the world out there, to see how can we jointly try to help and assist and make sure that these vulnerable groups are really brought to the fore. Not just as by giving grants and being as beggars they should. We should try to address them in terms of policy issues. What policies are there so that it is they address their rights and not become beggars and just live on grants, but there are provision made in all sectors that can cater for them to prosper and become proud citizens of their respective countries.
And lastly, perhaps just details about the event. Which time will the event start, and if the public is invited to attend, all public members are invited to attend the event?
Yes, thank you for that. And I also just, because I am here, this event is just, it's opening for us doors, because in September, we will be having the widows, the African Widows Summit. So this is a summit that is bringing all widows across the African spheres here in the land of the brave. And to look at some of these policy issues in terms of orphans, to see whether governments, our respective governments, can come and deliberate on some rights that have been violated in terms of all our constitutions. So I think everybody is welcome to come and attend. As we together we can have a proud and a louder voice to really change the lives of those that are vulnerable. The event is going to be at the UN House in Klein Windhoek, and it will start exactly at 9 o'clock.
All right. Thank you so much for being on Namibia Connect and just giving us those details on the event that will take place tomorrow. Thank you so much for having us on the air. And again, for those that need more details, please don't hesitate to come. My number is 0811299666. We are, as a caring nation, come in numbers and raise awareness, and probably we'll make Namibia a better place. All right. Thank you. And thank you for, and I want to see you all tomorrow. You are all invited, and please, NBC, I want to see you there. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Jane. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks.